What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Best Day Ever podcast. I'm Olivia, and today I have a special guest. Today we've got Josh Feiler on the show. Alright, guys, so Josh and I, as you know, I start off every podcast with the story of how we met, and Josh and I, we met in the library.
We're back where it all started.
We're back to where it all began. Before I even get into that, I had to just, remind you guys, today is the best day ever, because the only day you've got, because yesterday's gone, and we're not guaranteed tomorrow, so today's literally the best day ever. Alright, now we're going to get right into it. Josh, you want to start your perspective, or should I share my perspective of how we first met?
I'll share my perspective first.
Okay.
So I met Miss Olivia here in the library, I think it was early October of last semester, so 2021. So I was in a ethics case competition, and I was working on it with one of my assigned partners, randomly assigned. His name was Brett, and we were just talking in the library, and I was like, yeah, man, you just gotta put yourself out there and meet people, knock on doors, whatever. Then Olivia comes up, struts behind me, says, yeah, just like this. Hey, I'm Olivia. I was like, oh, what's up, bro? And then we just talked probably for at least 40 minutes about life, Hawaii,
all the good stuff.
What we were up to in the summer. And then I said, hey, come to my yoga night and vegan potluck. I'll have a DJ. And she said, I'll be there. And then later I was just talking to Brett again, and then Olivia ran back and said, oh my gosh, I can record this. And then she came back, recorded it, and then she came to the potluck, and then it's history from there.
Now we're homies. No, that moment, I remember, leaving, because I wanted to try and start doing that, in the moment, when you first meet people, because that's, when it's still kind of, I don't even know you, but it's, I know that it's always going to be a memory, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it, I'm just going to go back, and, just save it to record. But yeah, that's basically how it went down. I remember I, did a lot of homework that day, and I overheard you guys, and I was like, I'm just going to go up and tell them, hey. And then we became friends. And then little did I know that I'd be a part of all of these really cool events and opportunities. So as Josh mentioned, he invited me to a vegan potluck. And that's because Josh is president of the Vegan Club.
Represent.
Yeah. And Josh has really, just from being his friend, he just really puts his heart into everything he does, and he's just so good with people. Everyone, I swear, that comes to know Josh just feels like a friend to him, and he has such a heart and a passion for so many things. And those are some questions I have lined up about. I want to know what got you started. Was there a moment that got you interested into just going vegan? And for people who because obviously you're not gonna push beliefs on other people, but just an interesting takeaway, what you've learned becoming vegan. So those are all things we're gonna get into and more. So my first question is, what drew you to becoming vegan?
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for the kind words, Olivia. I'm sure everyone on the podcast knows, but Olivia is quite the friend of many as well. She, puts herself out there and says, hey, what's up? And it's all because of you that we're even sitting here. But, so what drew me to be vegan? So I've been vegan coming up on 4 years now. And the main thing was initially, health. I mean, I was a healthy kid. I didn't eat really much processed food or sugar. I would watch some videos about how it can help, reverse, heart disease, type 2, diabetes. Obviously I didn't have any of that, but I was like, hey, if this diet can do this, that's great. So that was more just plant-based.
Yeah.
So that's the food part of it.
Okay.
But then as it started to progress, I looked more into how it's good for the environment as well, but also kind of the philosophy behind a vegan lifestyle. And I realized if I don't want to do harm in other aspects of my life, why am I justifying doing harm in other areas of my life? Because the whole animal agriculture industry is kind of messed up. I don't know how much you know about it, but I was just in all areas of my life I want to try and do as little harm as I can. And obviously I slip up every now and again, but I think being a vegan is one of the biggest ways you can help reduce
Yeah.
your carbon footprint, reduce your harm. If you eat the right foods, it can be one of the best diets as well. So that's probably one of the main reasons why.
Yeah.
And then this year, it's really taken off just because I've been able to kind of reboot Veg Out and have a bunch of like-minded people and people who aren't even vegan or vegetarian just to say, hey, what's up? And share like, hey, this is the benefits, but we just want to have a big community, have some friends, and that's the story. It's not too complex. I mean, there's obviously bits and pieces more to it.
Yeah.
That's the main takeaway of it all.
Very cool. Yeah, I think I feel like I was just going to say, I feel like it's so normal in our world, like I think we're not really educated on like our carbon footprint. Like we hear that word, but we don't really know like what that means. But I think that's cool that you you learned about it and then you created a lifestyle out of it, and then like you share it in a way with like it's just so open. Like you just let anybody know what's going on in your life, and now you have like a whole group of people with the vegan club. And what has that experience been like specifically like educating others on it? Like have you seen like what have been like other people's response, or have you seen or like are people going to be more interested like as you like continue going on through the school year? Are people like more intrigued, or do they more just come for like the event? Or
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I haven't as much necessarily tried to educate in a group setting necessarily, but I do try and talk one-on-one with people. And I know people that came, like you came to the vegan Thanksgiving. I mean, my own friends like, oh, thanks for at least like opening my eyes to some other possibilities. People are like, oh, what is tofurkey? What is all this stuff? Oh, I didn't know you could do Thanksgiving food without animal products. So this year specifically, my main goal was to help build like the community up. But slowly we're also going to start talking about why eating plant-based, going vegan can be beneficial. I mean, and obviously lots of other clubs on other campuses like to do like protests and all. And like I think that's fine. That's not really how I think you change people though. You change people through conversation and being a good person. I don't want to be like the angry vegan stereotype, and I know I don't agree with a lot of their beliefs, but I don't go up to people who eat meat and say you're a horrible person or anything. I just say, hey, like I think it's good to research where your food comes from and make educated decisions. And ultimately, it's still your choice, but I think it's good to, in today's day and age, to just know more about how you live your life.
I agree.
So it's definitely gaining some traction. I would say a lot of people are joining the events, usually 30 to 50, I would say. Yeah. The goal is to get even more, so yeah.
Yeah, they're just so fun. Like I just love meeting new people every time I go. All right, my next question is, in general, are there things in your life you wish more people knew about you?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
You can take your time.
Like in my personal life?
Just in general, like something you just wish like more people knew about you, or it can be even as simple as like a secret talent, like or things you're passionate about that not many people know.
I wouldn't say I necessarily have any secret talent, and I would say I'm a pretty open book. Most people know a lot of details about me, which can be a very good or bad thing, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I guess I wish people knew about that drive for stuff like this, like the vegan club or Veg Out. I mean, I just want to share that. You know, it's not even like share the news. It's just like, hey, come be a friend or come be like-minded people. I mean, I guess maybe I want people to know like the stuff I do on the back end for a lot of groups. Yeah. But there's also something to be said for like working in silence. True. So I mean, I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for. No, that's great. I can't like juggle or anything. No secret talents there, but I mean, a lot of stuff goes on. On the back end of everything. So maybe I wish people would see like, the work you put into it. But I guess everyone can say that. I wish people saw the work I put in this thing. But they only see the end product, and that's why you got to make sure the end product is top notch. Yeah. So there you go. There you go. No, that's good. Okay, so you touched on how
you went to Hawaii, and we both
did.
went to Hawaii. And I just need to know, was that experience, did it, like, open your eyes, like, to the fact that just something as beautiful as Hawaii can exist? That's what I experienced.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it wasn't quite Pennsylvania. I was a lot nicer. So for the people listening, here's a little bit of the background of what I did. So I graduated my associate's degree in 1 year instead of 2. So I really kind of went pretty hardcore with that. And I was like, I worked so hard. I need to travel a little bit before stuff really picks up at Westchester. So last summer, I decided just to travel a bit. So I went to Colorado for 5 days with my dad, did Rocky Mountains, Boulder, Colorado, Denver. Then I went up to Seattle area to visit, my great aunt and uncle, second cousins, great-great-grandmother. And then I decided to go to Hawaii for 2 weeks by myself, and I did a work exchange. So that basically means, like, you do some work, and instead of exchange for money, you get housing and, like, a place to stay. So I did it on the big island of Hawaii. I went there for 2 weeks in like a bed and breakfast, like hostel, like they call it glamping, glamorous camping. So there was like cabanas, and these cabanas had hammocks in them, and you would wake up with the sunset and hear like all the animals, doing their animal things and all, making their animal noises, and it was just amazing. I met the most amazing people. I mean, I met like a frat kid and a hippie girl from Michigan. I would never think I would get along with them, and they became some of my best friends. And then there was like an astrologer from Tennessee, and like a seasonal ski instructor from New York.
Wow.
And a nanny from Texas. Like, it's just the most random people, but you had the most amazing time. So I went skydiving in Hawaii. I saw volcano. I traveled with people. Just, it was amazing. And the one morning, since I was so jet lagged, I thought I was waking up at like a later time. I was actually up at like 5 a.m.
Oh my
the first
gosh.
day. And I literally just woke up and I just saw the sun rising right over the water, right there. And it was just so surreal. So yeah, it did open up my eyes a lot to like what the world has to offer. Because I've been pretty secluded to like the East Coast my whole life. I've never been out of the country at all. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to even be able to travel in this huge country.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, like it was amazing. It did help me go with the flow a little bit, as Miss Olivia does here, it seems. But
the aloha lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, it was a great time. I would love to go back someday. I don't think I would want to go back right away. I would want to see some other stuff first. But
yeah.
I think the biggest thing was honestly the fact that I did work exchange and didn't stay in a hotel. Because then I got to meet all the guests. Like, I met a family of Mormons. We had food for Father's Day, I met a sugar daddy, like it was. And then I went I actually went skydiving with 2 of the guests. One of them was a flight attendant, and one of them was a 65-year-old retired Colombian special needs teacher. And it's just like, when else do you get to do that?
Yeah.
And the fact is, or like you would just meet a guest one night, and the next morning you would be traveling around the island in their car.
So cool.
Or going to hot springs at night, and it's just like, you don't do that in Pennsylvania. Everyone kind of does their own little thing. And in Hawaii, I think people still have that sense of community to some degree.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm biased because I was a traveler for 2 weeks, and then didn't have to like work full time there. But I still think it's a great place to be. Expensive place to be.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be. So.
I love all that so much, and you already know. So like, I love people, and I love the fact that it's like,
you love people?
I love the fact that it's like almost a miracle that like you even get to meet someone. Like the fact that like those people were there at that time for you to meet them and do these crazy experiences with them. Like, it's just so cool. And so I literally like come up with this question on the spot because I feel like a lot of people like struggle with the idea of thinking they can like just go and like say hi to someone, or like maybe it's just like not their personality. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but like what's like a little like piece of advice like to just like give someone like how like the impact of literally just like saying hi to a stranger, like how that is actually like so cool, and it's like it's so human to actually have connection. And I feel like just through our society, like we like have made it not a thing like to talk to people. So yeah, just like if you just have any like words of advice.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't think we quite have the same approach necessarily. Because I remember a couple of days ago, Olivia saw someone. It's like, I think someone just needs to say hi to him. I said, go do your thing. She said hi, and it was great. We talked a little bit, and then he, went and played football or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to take in the scene and see, like for example, I was with someone, and this girl was like, oh, I really like this other girl's tote bag. It's like, then go say something. So she did. I was just like, oh, I like your tote bag. Oh, thanks. But that was the whole conversation. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, there's some tips you got to do. Like, oh, I love your tote bag. Oh, where did you get it from? Oh, I actually have been meaning to get something from there. Oh, by the way, what's your name? And then you start talking a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Or something as simple as like in the gym, if you have an action set, like, hey, I really need you to spot me. Let's bench. Oh, what's your name, by? Oh, I love your shoes. I love your outfit, man.
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about it. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily always like just in the quad, just like walk up to strangers. Yeah. Because strangers are alone, they often want to be alone. But if it's something like in one of my veg out events, as the president, I feel kind of like the need to facilitate conversation. So I'll be like, oh, how you doing? What's your name? What made you want to come out? Did you see us on Ramp Connect? Did you hear it through word of mouth? So I would say, like, just take note of something about them. Mm-hmm. And that works, that works for, like, flirting and all, too. If you want, like, oh, my gosh, like, Olivia, I love your outfit today. It's very 70s inspired. Thanks. I wish there was a video podcast of this so everyone could see, Olivia's amazing outfit. And
maybe I'll get you guys a picture after this podcast.
There you go. And now she's blushing. And look at that. See?
Oh, my goodness.
See? And that's just how it's done. So that's the tip. Just notice something about someone. Mm-hmm. But then just feel free to talk too. Because also, like, I wasn't always like this. Yeah. I've kind of, my character arc, as some people that go here that also went to my high school, they said is pretty impressive. Yeah. In high school, I just worked and did my AP classes. And now, like, at the beginning of the year, I was like, you know what? Since I graduated early, I was like, all right, I got 2 years. Like, it's so cliche, but it's like, if you want to be confident, like, just do it. Especially in a new setting, or if you move somewhere or go to a new school, no one knows most people won't know your history or your past. Yeah. So just go be the person you want to be. Like, I remember I was invited to, like, a ski club party. I never gone skiing before, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I was kind of nervous, and I just went. And I was like, hey, how you doing? I introduced myself to everyone. I made it my goal. I would remember, like, as many names as I could. Later in the night, I would go up to, like, a group of girls, and I would remember all their names. They're like, what the heck? Because no one usually does that. Mm-hmm. And it's something unique like that. And then I went skiing, with the ski club later on, and then just met a great group of people. And it's something as simple as that. So just be the person you want to be. Obviously, it's easier said than done. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, that's like telling them, it's like, oh, you're depressed, so stop being depressed. Like, obviously, it's harder than that. Mm-hmm. But I think, ultimately, we're the dictators of our own lives. Make it be what you want to be. Like you said, some people don't feel like they can just get up and go. I didn't think I would just be going to Hawaii. I literally saw a video one night they had 3,000 views, and it was like, how I live rent-free in Hawaii. I said, I'm doing this, exactly this. I got in contact with the YouTuber. I got in contact with the exact place in the video, and that's what made the experience happen. That was probably the best 2 weeks of my entire life. And I did it for probably $1,000 or under, too. Like, life isn't as expensive or as crazy as people make it out to be. And plus, I'd rather do that than just sit on my phone all day. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of a long-winded answer there. But yeah, you just gotta be friendly to people, and people will be receptive to it, Yeah. So yeah.
I love everything you said. It was so good. And something that kind of caught my attention when you were talking. You were saying how, like, when people knew you from before, like, you're just saying in general, like, who you are, like, being more outgoing has changed. And so that was founded on, like, coming to the new school, or was that just something more about, like, you're like, actually, I want to be more like this?
I think it's both. It's just aging as well. Like I said, like, in high school, I just really worked at Target, to my EP classes. Surprisingly, I wasn't involved in I don't think, like, a single club, really. Whereas here, I'm on the executive board of 2. I'm now in the Student Government Association. I've led town halls, in a veg out, I'm trying to make sure I know everyone. Just because I was because I wanted it to happen. Yeah. Like, the veg out needed new officers, and I said, hey, make me president. They said, do you have any experience? no, you won't regret making me president.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a little cocky, maybe it was a little confident, but I think it worked out. But like I said, maybe it was partially the new school. But it's like it's harder to break out of your shell when you have that shell at a high school, or if you've been going to school with people for 12 years, like they have expectations of who you are. Whereas here, it can kind of be whoever you want. And even if you don't even like your show here, there's thousands of people on this campus.
Yeah.
Just go meet another person. Go join another club. There's like over 200 clubs, So I don't know. Basically, it was a little bit of both.
Mm.
Yeah, the new environment helped facilitate it, I would say. Or it's even something as simple as like Hawaii. You could really be whoever you wanted to be. Obviously, you'll still be kind of the same person. But I didn't know who I was staying with until the night before I flew into Hawaii.
Wow.
I went and lived with complete strangers, and they became great friends of mine. So it's just like, and actually, funnily enough, they had messaged me in the following months like, hey, actually, I'm going vegan, because like, talking to you inspired me to kind of look through that. And like the one went vegan, then he went back to eating meat, but realized he felt so good being vegan, he just did it. So, and I was just like, wow. And I wasn't like judging them. I was just generally, they obviously have all the same basic questions.
Yeah.
But the fact that I was able to make an impact on someone who's living in Michigan or in New York or is just traveling the world, it's like, that's kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And then speaking of crazy, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but one of Olivia's friends who was doing a traveling missionary, something Cade, so he's from Hawaii. He's like, yo, dude, like, you look so familiar. I think I met you in Hawaii. So I can't verify that, but we both said Magic Sands Beach at the same time, and he apparently grew up right next to that. And I was there one day in Hawaii. So maybe he was there, or even if I didn't run into him, he might have been there at the same time. And that's the power of global connections.
For real.
So that's kind of a little tangent, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question there.
No, it does. I just think it's so encouraging, like, for someone to hear just the words that, like, even though, like, you're talking about your own story and about how, like, you just putting yourself out there. It was a matter of you literally making, like, the decision. Because, like, some people, like, it's like, you really can, like, what you said, you're like the dictator of your own life. Like, and, like, something I've learned is obviously not all the circumstances of your life you have control over, but you always have control over, like, the way that you feel and, like, the way, like, you, like, choose to, like, live and wake up, and you can, like, always change your, like, perspective, and, like, that is, like, it truly is, like, always up to you. And I just, like, I appreciate you sharing all of those stories and little tidbits and, like, the power of, like, human connection. And going along with all of those things, you're saying, like, how Hawaii was, like, so life-changing. Are there any more, like, defining moments that in your life that you feel like have really, like, shaped you to be who you are? They don't even have to, like, big moments that, like, define you, but are just, like, moments in your life, like, growing up that, like, even though you don't even know where you're headed towards in the future, but I feel like when you're past, just, like, little moments or, like, little stories. It can be, like, you being, like, 5 years old, like, I don't know, like, scoring your first goal in soccer, and I don't even know how that story really relates to what I'm trying to, like, point towards, but I just think, like, little moments that you just, like, hold on to or have helped shape and define you.
I'd say big things would be injuries, to be honest. I mean, more recently, as people won't be able to see, but I'm in a sling because I was cocky and broke my collarbone.
We need to hear that full story after.
We will. But we'll just say that humbled me because it could have been a lot worse. Could have hit my neck on the giant steel beam. All I did was break a collarbone, and it reminds me just to, like, take a little slower every day, or even just to be more grateful that, like, you're able-bodied, because just the first 2 weeks I couldn't barely move my arm at all. Mm-hmm. I know it's more mobile, but it was just like, wow, like, some people don't have a fully formed body or not in full health, and to be grateful for that.
Yeah.
I guess in 8th grade too, I used to play football for 3 years, and in 8th grade I got a concussion, and that kind of scared me because it kind of messed with my head a little bit. but then, so that led me to stop playing football, and I still did track for a year and volleyball for a year. But I think because I decided not really to do sports in high school, that helped me to say, okay, I'm going to focus on academics. Because before I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a scholarship for sports. I was like, all right, this might not be realistic. Then I was like, all right, I want to get scholarships for academics.
Yeah.
And then, so I took 8 AP classes in high school, and that was what helped me to graduate early with my associate's degree, be really driven, and that allowed me to get, some scholarships and all, and it opened up a lot of doors.
Did you just say 8 AP?
8 APs.
Wow, beast!
Yeah, so
that opened up the door.
Yeah, so that helped me to graduate early, because I'll be graduating when I'm 21 instead of 22, excuse me. And I don't know, it just helped me open up doors, and it just makes me wonder if I had continued to play football in high school, my life would have been so different. Obviously, I don't think I would have been playing in college, but I would have maybe been graduating in 4 years, and then that means I might have had a whole different set of friends and a whole different set of perspectives and not as many opportunities, or maybe more opportunities, I don't know. I read a poem last night, and it's about this happenstance in our lives, and it was actually a book assigned from my English class in community college, and the idea is you're driving down this road, and just or this guy's driving down this road, if I remember this correctly, and his father was like, oh yeah, I bought property here because I was driving down this road and I just saw it, and that's just happenstance in our lives. And it's the idea of happenstance. I think you said it's like driving down the roads and remembering how you got there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm butchering that a lot. I wish I had it here, but it does make me it's wow. It's because I made that decision, or even just because you decided to say hi in the library, and now I'm friends with your sister Ava, and then little did I know that Ava was friends with my roommate already because they have a passion for playing the guitar, and it's just wow, life's the butterfly effect. It's crazy.
It is crazy. All right, I quickly looked up. I don't even know if this is it, but I want to try and find it. Is it by Rita Dove?
The poem?
Yeah. Is it called Happenstance?
No. How about we'll keep going on the podcast and I'll try and find it.
Okay.
It's a more lesser known author.
Okay. Well, as you continue looking it up, I'm just going to go off of what you're kind of talking about. It is so crazy to think about just all the different ways that your life can go. And something that I've learned, I feel just everything that happens is supposed to happen, and you're exactly where you're meant to be right now. So for whoever's listening or tuning in right now, it's the decisions you've made, maybe good or bad, you don't need to feel you've cut off doors for what could be in your future. You truly can just continue. Every day you wake up, just trust that where you are right now, the stories you've been through, they have definitely built to the character of who you are, and you can literally do so much with your story. And even if you went through challenging things, your story can literally just carry so much impact. And that's why I just love this so much, because you're talking about your injuries and how the matter of the football experience, and now you took on a whole other different route.
Exactly. It was a minor injury. It wasn't I got paralyzed.
Yeah.
But it was just enough to be hey, maybe I should refocus and do a different path in life. And then you did, and I think it's going well so far. Or even Westchester, for example. The reason I came to Westchester is because I got some scholarships. It is because I got an email from Bucks County Community College and encouraged me to apply for this one scholarship. And I was I'll never get this. And I ended up getting it because I was really going to commute to Temple.
Wow.
And then when I got this, I was wow, maybe I can actually... My plan was always to commute to a school.
Yeah.
I was hey, maybe I'll live on campus.
Yeah.
And try and have somewhat of a resemblance of a normal college experience, even though, we had COVID, and my first in-person college class was as a junior.
Yeah.
But I was hey, maybe I live on campus, and because of that, I've met so many friends, been able to get so involved. And I'm having a great time. Now that we're here on the podcast, I'm having an even better time.
Yay! That's so cool. And it's also cool because it just like it also reflects to your character. I mean, I know this is literally like 8th grade for you, but I'm just thinking the bigger picture, how like it can be so easy for people to like something such as getting an injury in a sport or getting denied an opportunity, like they struggle to see like that maybe was the plan all along, and so when they get stuck in that, it like keeps them from just living in today. So I think that's just like a really cool story to hear, how you've like allowed that like just like a little experience to kind of like shift your thoughts, and then you like took on what's next, and now you're here. So that's, I don't know, I just hope all of these, just like stories that are from Josh's life and like the people that continue to come on, I just hope they really do just start to like maybe shift your perspective on things, and you can see like truly your story is not over yet. So did you find the poem?
I did not. I mean, I can keep. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you later. Anyway.
Okay, yeah, that's
it's from a. Let's see.
What's the book called?
It's called North American Stadiums. It's like a lesser known book. Like it's like a local poet.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think we'll find it right now.
All right. Well, guys, definitely stay tuned following up this podcast, because it sounds like it'd be a very moving poem.
It is good, and I wrote a little nice little essay about it, and it was great. It was great.
Awesome.
Not to hype myself up.
Your essay was great.
Yeah, and I'm not like, I'm a good writer.
Yeah.
But I don't usually read poetry, so when I read it, and I was like, wow, like this is interesting, just his take on life, and the whole idea is, he kind of takes you through North America,
mm-hmm.
and it was just like different little like day in the life. I don't know. It's just interesting to see how like the American experience is kind of unique but the same all around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting.
It was interesting.
Definitely share that one over, and I'll like add it or link it with the post that I try to keep up with on Instagram. Sorry, guys. I have not been consistent, but I'm trying. But yeah, what I love about all this is that everyone, like, we all, I feel like, have like little passions to share, and it's not like anyone's like putting anything out there, forcing anything on anyone, but it's like we all just have like different opinions and different pieces of advice, and now here we are just sharing as people. And maybe whoever's listening will hop on one day and they'll share their perspective, and maybe it'll cause someone else to think differently, and it'll just open doors. Anyway, before we move on, I want to hear the story. Like, we need to hear the story of how the sling accident, like your whole collarbone accident.
It's not thrilling, but so, like I mentioned earlier, I started hanging out with the ski club, and I was like, I don't want to go skiing. I've never done this before, never been snowboarding either. So in Killington, Vermont, we went up to, that's not proper grammar, but we went up to Killington, Vermont in early December, and we had a great time. I mean, they took me to the very top of the Killington Mountain, which is a blue, so that's like medium difficulty, 4,000 feet up for my first time skiing. And it took me like 2 hours to get down the mountain. I was like, what the heck, guys? Like, so I only did a couple runs that day. But in January, I was like, all right, I need to get good. I want to get good at skiing. So we went to Bear Creek with some people from Westchester, and I ended up skiing for like 8 hours, and I was getting pretty good. I mean, I'm like a speed demon, So I still need to learn how to like carve and like turn a little bit better. So I was like, I had went down this one black diamond earlier, and I ended up on my butt, but like I still made it down, but safely. So I did it again later, but it's 8:30 at night now. I don't have much food in my system. I'm a little groggy. I shouldn't have done it. So I'm going down, but then one of my skis catches an edge and pops off. So now I'm just on my right foot now, on my ski. I think I was even looking ahead to make sure I didn't hit anyone or something. I don't know. I should have just like fallen down, but literally like a second or two later, I'm just like stopped dead in my tracks, and I'm on the ground, and I look up, and it's just this giant steel lift beam, and it has padding on it, thankfully, because I guess I wasn't the only idiot to run into it. So thankfully, ski patrol was like right behind, but all I felt was just like a buttload of pain. I thought I had torn my trap off or something, or I don't know. But I was like, ended up just being a broken collarbone, and it wasn't even a complete fracture. It was like just partial. I mean, it looked kind of all janked up and all, but I was like, hey, So yeah, but basically it didn't need surgery, thankfully.
Yeah.
I've been in the sling almost a month. Yeah, it happens. The accident was a month ago tomorrow. But it's just like it kind of took away some more of, my winter break and all, and I was like, had to recover, and it is humbling, because a big thing that I like to do is also like do weightlifting, go to the gym. All I've been able to do is like do legs, and it's humbling because I can't even like do a proper push-up right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like 2 months ago I was bench pressing 315 pounds in a Santa costume. Like to go from that to not being able to do a push-up, it's humbling. And it reminds me, it's like you can lose your body, but like make sure you keep your mind sharp as well. I don't know. That's a little philosophical, but it's like
that's good.
But then I also realized it's like my whole image used to be, because like I was kind of like, I was like fatter, then I was like scrawnier, then I was like, so since pretty much 7th or 8th grade, it's like lifting has been part of my persona. Like I don't get the kid with the abs or jacked. I still do.
Yeah.
But it's like when I put on the sling and stopped going to the gym as much, like no one's perception really changed much about me. I realized like maybe like it wasn't always about, the body. It was more about like just who you are as a person. But man, who knows? Maybe the confidence scan in the gym helped carry over to my personality. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, happenstance is a very powerful thing. But it's humbling, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I'll be back, folks. The underdog. The recovery story is happening.
So what's next? What's the next holiday? St. Patty's Day. So you can be dressed up as a leprechaun doing the 350, whatever you did.
Well, I
squat.
do look like a leprechaun. Thank you.
No, I'm saying for the next holiday you can dress up.
Fair enough. To the people on the podcast, I'm a redhead with facial hair. I used to have a full red beard as well, just a mustache now. But so I don't know if that's for the holiday or is this like dig, Olivia? I don't know.
No, literally, I was not even thinking about the fact that you are redheaded. I was literally.
It's because I have a beanie on and she forgot.
I was thinking about the next holiday.
Maybe I'm messing with you, maybe I'm not. I mean, you always have to decide in post-editing here.
Well, anyway, we're moving on.
We are moving on.
And, alright. I know we gotta wrap up here soon. So, you've shared so many wonderful things. You've shared just about, like, your passions for veganism, is that the word?
Yeah.
Veganism and like the Veg Out Club, and how like you choosing, like being proactive in life, like and making decisions and just like going for it has not only just led you to cool experiences like Hawaii, but it's led you to take on more things in life, like being like president of clubs and like having 2 other positions in other clubs. Like you can clearly see, like if you were to look at your life on the outside, you can see how like shifting your mind, like shifting your perspective, like you can probably almost see maybe like a before and after of just like maybe like where your like focus was before, and then not that like you weren't always like strong-willed, like going after things and being motivated, but it's like cool like in other areas of your life how like it wasn't just about not like AP classes in school and work. Like it's just like I feel like it's almost like you've like built your character too, and like maybe found your passions. That's just what I'm thinking.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I would say I'm the same person throughout. I mean, it's a continuation. Obviously, it's a mindset shift some, but like I don't regret that I did maybe the APs and working in high school. 1, there's no point in regretting it at this point.
Yeah.
But 2, it's like I worked really hard to allow me to live the life I'm living now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, well, I worked really hard and I'm a millionaire now.
Yeah.
It's like it
like those every step you've made, like every choice that you've taken, like it's like that obviously set you up.
Like I'm glad I worked up to where I am, so that I have, because like a thing I'm thankful for is because of the scholarships and the part-time job in high school. I don't really have to have like a part-time job right now.
True.
That allows me to do these extra positions in school and all, and really take on more responsibilities. Where some students have to work, and I realize that I'm grateful for where I'm at. Maybe that's like privileged a little bit, but it's also because I worked hard earlier on in my life that I can have opportunities. But because, like, for example, I was able to get scholarships and all, and I don't like experience something like food insecurity, that's what made me passionate about like leading that town hall on food insecurity and food options on campus. Or like I am able to cook vegan food in my kitchen, and that's why I got an apartment on South Campus. But freshman students have to get a meal plan. They might not have as many vegan options here, and they might be struggling, and it could lead them to an eating disorder, or it could lead them to not get their caloric needs. So I'm really trying to advocate for stuff like that, because it's like I experience like good things in my life, and I want other people to be able to experience this as well. So that's another reason why I get like involved with Student Government Association and town halls, all that type of stuff. So yeah,
it's all good stuff. So maybe I'll reword what I said before about seeing like a clear before and after. I think it's more like just continuing to just go along life. It just continues to shape who you are.
Yeah.
And being almost grateful for who you were and where you've come from and how it really does all lead to who you are right now.
I'm looking forward to hopefully who I'll be in the next 5 years.
Okay, my final question. New year, hashtag new me. Not really. But what are some 2022 goals that Josh Feiler has coming?
Actually, I'm not really much one to do resolutions, because I kind of, this might sound stupid, but like I'm pretty happy with where I am in life, so it's just like keep kicking butt, Josh.
Yeah.
But some big goals, I mean, personal wise, I mean like career wise, I'm trying to get an internship for the summer still. I mean, I've applied to 70 internships now. And
Did you say 70?
70. Yeah, and that's not even as much as some other people. That's a lot, and I'm actively interviewing. But it's hard because, I mean, a school like Westchester doesn't always carry as much name weight as like an Ivy League, which is fine. It just means you got to work a little harder and got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps or whatever they say,
Yeah.
And also just like during school, I want to make sure that, the endeavors I set out upon, I'm setting out on them like really well. It's like with Veg Out, like I want these events that I'm doing to have a great turnout so that I can talk to people maybe about veganism, but also just be their friends and know, because I know people that say like that Veg Out is one of their main places to socialize. Like I never really always saw it like that, but I saw it as a place to socialize, but not as the main way.
True.
And for some people that could be the community they're really lacking, and it helps them from being, as sad or as lonely. We're another big thing, like I said, with the dining services, senator position, SGA, or leading the town halls. I want to get more, more vegan, kosher, and halal options on campus, so that students don't have to experience like food insecurity, and they have the food options that they want. So that's like a kind of more like a goal, like in one of my positions.
That's great.
But also just to keep doing what I'm doing, and then I think I'll get my travel bug again, probably when I graduate, because I know now's the time just to really, put your nose in the books and work hard. But the idea is maybe if I get a job. This is 2023, so I guess it's slightly altering your question. But if I get a job and it starts in September and I graduate in May, I want to travel the world during that time, or travel the country again. Like I've always had that idea, like, I want to work hard, but I also just want to have like a van and travel some.
Yeah.
But I think you can do both.
For sure.
So we'll see. I mean, I would say those are the biggest. I want to have my collarbone heal fully and get back to what I was doing before in the gym and playing volleyball and sports and all. So, yeah. What about you, Olivia? What are your 2022 goals?
Ooh,
I'll turn it back.
Throwing it on me.
I am.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, hey everyone. If you don't know already, so I am also a student at Westchester. I feel like I don't always update you guys on my life. I'm also a student at Westchester, and I graduate in May. But for what's next, I still don't know. Like, my saying is still like, life's a blank canvas only God can write on. And I literally, like, I don't know anything I'm doing with my life, like, up until graduation. Like, I literally don't know. So, some things that, like, are in the makings is my mom is actually like putting a house, what's the word? Like an offer in on a house like abroad in Italy, because we have our dual citizenship, and there's just like so many random things. Like my friends want to go to Hawaii this summer, so maybe Hawaii. I don't know, but those are just like random things about like physically where I could be. But my goals, like I just want to continue to be consistent with podcast and documenting life, like YouTube. Like I would love to just continue to share. Like I want this to be my platform, and I don't know. I feel like there's like always something new I'm like trying to get into, but the things that are always consistent are I love people, I love traveling, I love documenting life, and I love sharing my faith in Jesus. So we shall see. We shall see.
So it's a to be determined.
Yes, it's a to be determined. So guys, I guess you guys have to stick along for the journey every Wednesday or every week, because I don't really post every Wednesday. So whenever I post that week, you guys just have to stay along for the journey. Like you're locked in.
Truth.
But yeah, I guess this concludes our episode with Josh Feiler. Is there anything else on your heart? Anything else you want to share? Or I feel like you just you really laid it all out here for us, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Olivia. I would say just try something new, I guess. I mean, go out of your comfort zone. If you're a Westchester student, join Veja.
Yes!
It's a good time. I mean, shameless little plug there. But I'll make sure you feel at home. And Olivia is not even a vegan, and she seems to love it. She's come to a couple of our meetings. She's coming to a meeting on the 24th. We're going to a cafe as a group and all vegan restaurant. And
oh yeah,
it's just like the small connections there. Like I met the owner, and he's helping us to subsidize the meal, and he's a great guy. And it's just small things. You never know. You don't know what your life can lead unless you start. Or you reach out, or like even I reached out to this one guy through a mutual connection here at the school, David Benzequin, on April 27th. He's driving all the way from New York now to speak to us, and hopefully, we can get a big turnout. I want to get at least a couple hundred, maybe. Mm-hmm. You never know. I mean, and people on LinkedIn from Goldman Sachs in Hong Kong were like, "Hey, is this being live streamed?" It's like, wow, like. But if I didn't take those steps to post that or reach out, those connections might not have happened. And who knows? I mean, maybe nothing will come out of it, but maybe this could open up new career doors for me. Or maybe I'll, reach out and talk to these people in California. They're like, hey, there's a job for you in California. You never know. Obviously, it's a little optimistic. But I would just say, do your research on kind of the life you want to live and make it happen. If you want to travel somewhere for cheap, figure out how to do it. You don't just have to stay in a hotel. Or, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on my mind. But just go live the life you want to live. Obviously, there's some constraints as a student, obviously. But do well in that. Be nice to people. Like Olivia said, be the person who walks into a party or a gathering or whatever that people are excited to see. Leave the room better, than when you first got there. Like, make the world better. Yeah. We'll end on that, I guess.
That was so
Olivia,
good.
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Josh. I really appreciate it. I'll link up everything, like details about upcoming gatherings. I gotta represent like what you're doing. It's really awesome. It's really cool. People really appreciate everything you do. I know I do.
Well, I appreciate you too, Olivia. This girl, she's spunky. She gets stuff done, and people appreciate her, and always very positive. I don't know how she does it. Always smiling and all that.
I got one person to thank. His name's Jesus.
I thought you were gonna say your dentist.
My dentist. No, Jesus. Yeah, but thank you so much. High five. This is great. That was me. Do it again. Alright guys, have a good day. It's the best day ever. Stay tuned for what's to come next. Because honestly, I don't even know what's to come next. But alright, I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.